everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. I'm here today with an Arcane Rising market update. You might see me look over there. My daughter is watching Pokemon right now, so I got to get this update in. And anyway, if you want to support the channel, if you want access to all this data, go on over to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG, where you can get access to a collection tracker that utilizes all of this data and puts it in a collection tracker for you to manage your collection and to see the values updated every week whenever I do these videos, which is every week. I do one for every set. So let's hop in and talk about sealed products first. And see where we're going right now. So this week there was a sealed Arcane Rising box because I'm at my table and not at my studio downstairs where people are working on the basement. I can't really show you the prices, the sold listings, but there was a Arcane box that sold for $18.25 and an Arcane box that sold for $2,000 on eBay. So I split the gap there and put it at $1,900, which is slightly down. You can see we're having like a slight downwards trend still happening. And back before the print run announcement happened, we were sitting at around $1,860, and that jumped up to 4K. So it's been kind of a trickling effect back down towards the prices that we saw here. And you know, that's kind of what's happening and going on there. Meanwhile, you can get Arcane boxes of Unlimited for around $70, 67, 80, 70 bucks. I don't know why I said 80, 67 to $70 on TCG Player. You're going to pay taxes and shipping as well. Patrons, if you're watching, I did put out cases at $65 each for per box if you're interested. So looking at the Fable then, no signs of life for the Unlimited Fable. It's really bizarre that it just seems to just keep dropping. Look at the Unlimited Fable. It's below the price of like a skull cap now, which makes things really interesting. It's no longer this kind of chase of like you almost rather hit Command and Conquers or skull caps. It's kind of interesting. You know, that kind of is what it is. We used to see this kind of increase and then a dip to 500, and then boxes would come out, we'd increase back up, and then boxes, you know, would be released and we'd dip down to 500, and that started to happen, except for when we hit 500, we just kept dropping. So that's where the Unlimited Eye is. It's around $200. Meanwhile, the the first edition cold foil, there's honestly like nobody's selling. Nobody, like the people who are selling don't want to sell it for 10K. If you remember, this 10K price was all a result of an eBay auction that included like a bunch of legendaries and an eye, and the same thing happened for WTR, and it really put a whole stop on the market. So just keep in mind, like I don't know where the price point is. I don't know that anybody really knows where the price point is. I'm not seeing anybody really putting out buy offers. I'm not really seeing anybody meet these kind of prices around the $10,000 for the card. So until somebody wakes up and decides, hey, I need the money, we won't see a price for a while. But all right, let's talk about first edition then. Let's see if it's worth it to open up a $1,900 box of first edition. When you take a look at the legendaries, I think some people are starting to bling out their chain deck for the calling. You're going to see another Runeblade card going up in value in a little bit. We have Grasp the Arknight. There was one, a BGS 9 sold for $2,000, and then a raw sold for $1,200. I usually take the BGS 9 prices and take like 10 to 20% off of them, and so that's kind of what I've done here. So we'll put Grasp the Arknight at $1,800. That's up 38%. You know, last week we were at 1,300, and then there was that sale that was 1,200. So you could probably make an argument to me that I should be using the raw data, but I don't know, historically the 9s have been selling for just a little bit of a premium over raw. So anyway, that's what I did there. I want to be transparent about that. Meanwhile, Stormstrider sold for $1,200. That puts your average legendary at $1,700, $1,780, which is up 2.5%. Looking at the cold foils then, like I said, you got some Runeblade stuff selling. So we got a Crown of Dichotomy on eBay that sold for $375. I think the current low on TCG Player is like $550 or something like that. Null Rune sold for $375. Talismanic Lens sold for $245, and Mage Master Boots selling for $235. So there is a little bit of softness in some of these cold foils, but then some of these ones that people are actually playing with, people want to bling out their deck, do whatever they want. Those are, showing some signs of life at least. You can see our average before the spike, which is kind of a placeholder that I'm utilizing, was right around the $250 mark. And we're still at an average of 274, so we're still up over the print run numbers. You can see those print run, that announcement really did some stuff with the market. It'll be interesting to see if we see any of that with like Monarch or anything, to see what the market's at, but that's kind of where we are. Looking at the first edition Majestics then, lots of downwards pressure. These have a hard time finding price points. Somebody listed a bunch of them on TCG Player, and that's a lot of the reason why a lot of these are going down, because they undercut the market quite a bit, and that kind of creates a new market price in my mind. So High Octane is one I want to look at. That's the foil we're seeing at 200, which is down 31% from where it was at 290. The regular's at 18. I think what's happening is first edition from the other sets having a less of a premium over Unlimited, for whatever reason in the market currently is affecting the Arcane Rising and WTR prices, and even probably to a lesser degree Crew. I think what's going to need to happen is the collectors are going to have to show up again, and people are going to understand the rarity of an Arcane Rising Majestic Rainbow Foil. It's incredibly more rare than a Monarch First Edition Majestic Rainbow Foil, because they were 1 in every 4 boxes rather than like 1 to 2 in every box. So they're incredibly more rare. So I think the market will wake up to that one day. Right now it just doesn't seem like we are there, and the market dictates the price, not us. So and not print runs either. So looking at your average Majestic, you're sitting at $393. I do think it would be hard to sell. I mean, some of these are like current listing price, so I think it would be hard to sell. There's just nobody is selling less than them, so it's kind of an interesting thing. Looking at the first edition super rares then, a lot of the same, not a ton of rainbow foils. The problem with the rainbow foils is one person sold a bunch of them at these prices 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that has kind of set a new bottom on the market. They all got purchased at this kind of the prices that you're seeing, but now the people who want to sell them are trying to sell them at the old prices, and they're just not meeting anywhere. Meanwhile, the non-foil ones are just kind of doing normal weird market stuff. They're just dropping in price, and they don't really get affected by the meta. My guess is that some of these are popping up and people don't just don't really consider them any different because of the other sets first edition. But anyway, we're at an average of $8.70 for the unlimited, or for the non-foil, and $45 for the rainbow foil. All right, looking at rares and commons, keep in mind I just used TCG low on these, so your average rare is sitting at $22. Not enough, foil rare. Not really anything going on to talk about. Your regular rares, Plunder Run still sitting around $10. That makes a lot of sense to me. The rest of the stuff, no real huge changes. Looking at foil commons, again, no real huge changes. You've got a couple things moving and going up and down, but nothing that's really important to talk about. So the top over to the EV, keep in mind this true EV number includes all the commons, and the commons at $190 of value because there's so many of them. So that's where we are there. But if you take out those commons, you're at $1,422. If you take out the Fable, the Eye, you'd be sitting at $1,172. Of course, this is if you open, 40. This would be if you open for a case. You could expect about $1,172. If you're just opening one box, you're not going to hit a legendary. You're really sitting at like $727. But keep in mind that does include the Majestic, and it's not always great to hit a Majestic rainbow foil. So lots of value in the rainbow foil commons. Lots of value in the rares, and just keep in mind it's probably not worth it to open up a box. But you can see on average the market is dropping about 33% for the first edition stuff. All right, as we take a look at Unlimited, let's see if it's worth it to open a $65 to $70 box. Talking about the legendaries, Skullcap still at like $230. That's not really budging much. The Skullbone Crosswrap though, the Ranger helmet, headpiece, whatever, is sitting at $87, a little bit up. I think people are thinking about Lexi right now. Keep in mind that there are going to be more printing of Unlimited Arcane Rising, so I don't think that we'll see this like skyrocket to like $200 or something like that, so make sure you're smart about that. But $87 seems like that makes sense. 11% up this week. Teklo Foundry Heart going down a little bit. That's interesting because there was a dash build coming out that a lot of people are using. Grass the Arknight a little bit soft at 9% down at 80, and Stormstriders at $45. Really nobody playing Wizard, so down another 10%. You're starting to see some evening out of the class specifics here, and I think that makes a whole lot of sense. Your average is sitting at $105, which is down just 3%. Looking at your Unlimited Majestics, everything's kind of down, but nothing terrible. Keep in mind, last week we had a pretty big week for Command and Conquer. It kind of dried up, so Command and Conquer back down, but it's like $95 still, so that's down 8%. But last week it was just a dry week for it. Art of War, the foil version is coming down while the regular version is kind of going up. So I don't know what to say about that. Your average rainbow foil is sitting around $24, whereas your average regular is sitting around $17. Arknight Ascendancy, just not seeing much play. Art of War, you've heard me talk about it already. Again, like Blazing Aether, not a ton of play for Wizard right now. You're starting to see like the Teklo cards kind of go up. The Mechanologist cards, like I said, there's a new mech build, so some of those are moving up. And then Ranger cards also moving up. So a lot of interactions going on, a lot of purchasing going on right now. I think a lot of boxes being opened as well. So those are your averages. Let's move on to the super rares. Good to see these kind of moving in a trend upwards. We've kind of flatlined here on the averaging, and maybe now we'll start to see some small upticks in them as people figure out where to use them and that kind of thing. Let's see, maximum velocity, one of the ones going up. Lesson on Lava, kind of weird going up. I don't know, I don't really understand where that one is. Leave a comment in the comment section if there's a new wizard thing going on. Let me know. We've got Endless Arrow. Again, I think some people are trying to try out some Ranger stuff to kind of maybe learn the class in order to play Lexi when she comes out. So yeah, that seems to be where we are. Your average regular non-foil is at $1.20. Your average rainbow foil is at $1.85. Looking at the rainbow foil rares, you've got Plunder Run. It's losing a little bit of value, but still a significant card in the meta and a significant card in this box. Even the blue one seeing some play and seeing an increase in price. Other than that, not really a whole lot going on. Take Cover, again, another Ranger card, so those are kind of drying up, but really nothing new that I haven't already mentioned. And the regular rares, the same thing's all true. Plunder Run is kind of the card to look for. Looking at your rainbow foil commons, your null rune still has some value, but it's losing value. Fate Foreseen Red, it's actually kind of nice to see these common rainbow foils decrease a little bit because they were getting a little pricey. So Fate Foreseen Red is at $3.50. Keep in mind there is some decent value in some of these, but your average is going to be 41 cents, and some of them aren't selling for anything, and some it's very spiky. It's hit or miss. So make sure you're looking at your common rainbow foils when you open up your boxes, and I do think it's important to include it in the valuation because it does net you some value at the higher end. Let's take a look at the EV then. Like I said, don't include the commons. This number right here includes the commons, but if you don't include the regular commons, you just include the rainbow foil commons. If you open 40 boxes on average, you'd be sitting at $93. If you open a case on average, you'd be sitting at $88 per box. If you're just going to open up one box, you're sitting at like $62. Keep in mind that this is just like the price is sold. You're probably not going to be able to make your money back after fees and shipping and all that thing. But if you're just looking to have some fun with friends, I think it's worth it to open up a $65 box right now, especially if you can do a case, right? Especially if you get a case, maybe you're doing some drafts with your friends and eventually you open up the whole case. I think you'd probably get about your money back after fees and things. So I do think it's worth it right now to open up Arc Unlimited. And you can see the markets, the boxes are being opened, but people are also playing these cards a lot. I would say that Arcane right now is the hottest set in terms of effectiveness towards the meta. Maybe Monarch, but I think probably more Arc with Command and Conquer and Art of War seeing so much play. So that is another thing to note. The Majestic slot here is taking up $34 of the value, and you can miss hard. That's back up to the regular Majestics. If you don't hit in Art of War or Command and Conquer, you're kind of busted here. So just keep that in mind, that like a lot of the value is in those cards. You're playing a gambler thing, right? Like you're going to hit 2 Majestics. You could hit Mordred and Red in the Ledger. That only adds $8 of value instead of 32. So like this number right here, this EV is very, very skewed towards averages. So just keep that in mind, because if you don't hit a Command and Conquer, don't hit an Art of War, you might not be sitting anywhere close to this. So hope you guys have a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. If you're looking for access to all this data, head on over to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. If you want to check out the EV based on what you want to include, if you just want to include cards that are over $3, or if you just want to include Majestics and Legendaries, head on over to ev.kitchenttabletcg.com. That's a free tool for the community. It's not part of the Patreon, but if you want to kind of pick and choose what you want included in your EV, I think that's a great way to do it. Hope you guys have a great day. Once again, remember to be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again later for another video, and we are looking forward to WTR tomorrow.